Hello, YouTubers. This is Maria, and this is my PM vlog. PM stands for product management because I'm a product manager. My YouTube channel is very new. It's, I think, a few days old. I've only posted 2 videos so far. This is going to be my 3rd one. I've decided to create my YouTube channel to share on an open source platform whatever research I conduct on different AI tools because I'm really excited about AI as a technology, and I feel like everybody should start involving themselves into that as soon as possible. And I'm trying to bring to the world what I have discovered about different AI tools. I'm located in Toronto, and this is Toronto Tech Week, and I got to meet a lot of people on different events. And on one of the events, I found out about Notebook LM, and this is going to be the major topic of our episode today. So what is Notebook LM? Notebook LM is literally a notebook where you can have some notes or a certain type of information required for certain activities in your life. So I categorize that as, first off, it can summarize and understand the content. So if you upload some files, for example, in the PDF format, or you can copy a freeform text, or you can connect to your Google Drive, it can summarize, create the key topics, frequently asked questions, and that can be useful for the quick digesting of a research paper, of a report, or meeting notes that can be a meeting notes or for a 2-hour-long conversation. As well as you can ask contextual questions. For example, there was a document that you wanted to analyze, but you don't want to get into too many details. You don't want to dive into that, and you're just uploading the document and asking Notebook LM to prepare an answer to a certain question for you. It can help you create a draft. So if you are creating a post for a blog or an article or a product brief, you can use some uploaded materials where it's going to create a draft for a document for you. It's extremely important for product managers for sure, because we work a lot with the documentation. Podcasts and interviews. Since I'm also an Instagram blogger, I'm trying to become more popular on Instagram. I'm just researching my niche. I know it's extremely important for me because I need transcripts, I need scripts themselves, I need to create different captions, maybe video descriptions. So this is where Notebook LM can be extremely helpful for me. It can also be helpful for learning and teaching if you're a student, or if you are preparing for an interview, for your job interview, for example. It can help you analyze different open source files and documents and get ready for discussing the lecture notes or on discussing the job interview questions. This morning, I decided to re-record a few points in my video because I felt like it didn't mention a few things that I wanted to mention yesterday. It came to my mind when I was showering, so that's why I'm wearing the new t-shirt. This is very early in the morning, so I'm having my coffee here. And this is the welcome page, the homepage of Notebook LM, where I have a few projects prepared for you. They call it a note, and we're going to go over the notes about the gender gaps in tech. If you want to create a new note, you can just press create new here, which is going to offer you to add different types of sources that the system is going to analyze and summarize for you. You can add some paperwork from Google Drive, as well as you can link it to a website or a YouTube channel. Or you can just have a plain text that is going to be a freeform text. But I already added a source to my note, and this is a paper that I found online just in an open source, as an open source information, and I uploaded it. If we look into it, that's a huge paperwork about the topic, about the gender gaps, and why is it important to use Notebook LM for huge, tremendous files. That's because Notebook LM is going to summarize it for you, where you don't have to go over all the pages trying to understand what's going on. It's going to do it for you. As well as you can add more sources here if you feel like it didn't cover the entire topic in full. As well as, if you don't know where to get the sources from, you can discover the sources yourself. You can say, I'm feeling curious about this topic, so please, Notebook LM, find the sources for me that I would want to analyze by you afterwards. Whenever the analysis is over, so when you upload the document, it's going to start analyzing, you have this chat window here where you just communicate with the LLM, with the AI assistant here, where you can ask it questions. They have a template of a question that might be interesting that you would want to ask, or you can save it as a note, which is going to appear here, and you can always get back to this summary whenever you start working on the topic in full. Another cool thing is to create an audio overview. That is very important for people who are perceiving the information within the audio file. So for me, I love reading the book, like I love reading the articles. But whenever that's a more complex topic, I feel like I need just the audio file to listen to. I don't want to read. My brain is going to get the information and place it on its, put it on its proper place when I have an audio that I listen to. So it's more relevant to a complex scientific paperwork. That's me. That's why some people are the same way. And that's why they have an audio overview that you can create. And it's going to be, I already created one, so I'm just going to load it, but it's going to be in the format of a podcast. I came up with a use case where, for example, I have a topic I wanted to share with my boss. This is a weird way to call my manager a boss, but I was referring to my manager. And the topic was about AI data protection. Nobody yet knows much about AI and specifically about data protection. That's why I created a presentation, but the presentation was pretty heavy and it was still difficult to go over all the slides to perceive this information. And I was thinking, by the way, also my manager is usually on the way somewhere in the car, so he cannot really just read through it. And if I created an audio file for him to share so that he can listen to it while driving, maybe that would have been a better idea of him understanding why this topic is so important. So let's see how the note is going to sound and what the note is going to be about. It created me a 13.5-minute podcast about this topic. Again, that was a heavy paper, so I guess it created a 13-minute description and discussion dialogue between two people, which are completely AI generated. So let's give it a try and listen to this audio note.
You've heard the common narrative, right? About the tech industry's gender gap. We've all seen the statistics, maybe even felt the impact ourselves. But what if we told you that one really common explanation for this gap? The idea that women just shy away from about the gender gap in tech.
Yeah, and this is a great opportunity because it moves us beyond those, typical lab studies.
Mm-hmm.
I had to scroll a little bit so that you can hear that this is a discussion between a woman and a man. And what they do, they are discussing everything around this topic. And there's another very cool feature to my mind where I can interact with this podcast myself. Instead of asking a question as a prompt here, I can just say my prompt out loud and then get a description and an answer to my question within the interactive mode within the audio note. So let's try it out. What you need to do is you need to use this interactive mode here, and you need to start the conversation first before you can join it.
Oh, hey, our listener wants to join in. What's up?
Hey, my name is Maria. So I do have a question. Can you tell me whether there is any statistics around women having a cheaper compensation while working in tech for the same positions, if to compare with what man is going to get for this job?
Hi, Maria. That's a fantastic question, and it's super relevant to our conversation today.
Absolutely. It touches on another critical aspect of gender disparities in the workplace.
While this specific paper we're discussing today focuses on participation and competitive environments, not directly on salary data.
The broader research on gender gaps.
So this topic is clearly not covered within this paperwork, but have you noticed how politely the AI has moved away from the discussion, saying that this was not part of our podcast, but this is a very great question, yada, yada. So, of course, that's how you can realize that this hasn't been covered within the paperwork, and maybe you need to go and find the other sources to add to your paperwork so that AI can provide additional podcasts for it. But that's a very easy way of summarizing huge portions of information, as well as analyzing it, as well as asking more questions about the topic so that you yourself can be aware of everything, dive deeper, and get prepared for whatever conversation you're going to have around the theme. Just to mention another feature that I find really useful for a use case of preparing for the job interview. For example, you want to apply for a product management position at Shopify, and they have this position listed on their website, as well as they offered you an interview with a director of product management. How are you going to get prepared? What if you know nothing about the company, or what if you know nothing about what kind of questions they might be asking? And yes, this information probably somebody has shared somewhere on Reddit, but you're not going to go into every single topic of trying to find out what's going on and what kind of questions they might potentially be asking you. What you can do, though, you can add a source as a website to this position and discover other sources where you can say, hey, find me the possibility of the questions that they might be asking me on the interview. And you can ask it from this prompt window and submit. And then it's going to find you a few sources which you can select for further analysis and summary. So I actually did find this position just to demonstrate to you. So if we copy paste it to the new project, let's say this is brand new. I can copy paste it here, insert. Let's see first off what it's gonna create for me. So this is a note about Shopify initial steps in their hiring process for product management, yada yada. And then let's say I'm going to ask it to discover different sources for me about how I can get ready or how can I apply for a product management position in Shopify. So I added a question, how can I apply for a product management position in Shopify? Do I have to have a specific knowledge or skills? Let's see what it's going to find as a source for my further analysis of this topic. So it took me a few seconds, and now it's saying that it had different workshops. There's something entry-level product manager jobs, TikTok. So let's use all of those sources. It's 10 sources. I can import them and use all of them to get analyzed by the LLM. Now I can select one of the sources, and then it gives me a small summary about the source and what it's gonna cover if you decide to open this TikTok, for example. And then the key topics it has, and you can select this topic, and it's going to summarize it additionally for you in the chat window. So the topic I selected is how to transition into product management position, and that article offers what kind of skills you should have, any secondary skills, anything that do you have to have any technical understanding, etc., etc. Meaning each and every source that you use will be important to re-review by you as a human, because not every source might be relevant to what kind of information you were looking for, but it's a good way of compiling all those sources into one single paperwork and adding that as a note for your future analysis when you decide to get ready for the interview. So now this is a note, and now you know how to become a product manager if you would like to transition into this position. Another interesting thing would be frequently asked questions. If you press on it, it's going to analyze all the sources, and it will prepare possible questions that might appear around this topic and the answers. So why is that also interesting whenever you're looking for a job? Is because you never know what kind of questions they might be asking you about. And this system might help you get ready. So it might tell you, okay, what is a product manager and what are their core responsibilities? Or like, this is a very generic topic. This is not in regards to a specific position, but it can definitely help you out to get more information about the company, more information about the position, possible questions they might be asking you, and to be extremely ready and prepared, analyzing all the sources. You know that the companies love when you analyze their core structure, their values, their goals, which is pretty difficult to analyze from just studying their website. And here, Notebook LM can just summarize it for you. So I guess this source helps you get the information faster extremely faster than what you might have done manually before. So I personally would love to use it more for my researches, investigations, and even maybe competitors analysis. Okay, I think that was it for today. Thank you for watching it. If you managed to watch until the end, special thanks to those people. I appreciate your attention to my content. If you like my videos, feel free to hit the like, hit the follow, spread the word about my new YouTube channel and my LinkedIn as well. If you guys have something to share, feel free to follow me on LinkedIn, to DM me, and I would be happy to discuss more about different AI tools and what kind of experience you have with that as a product manager or any other position that you occupy at the moment. Even if you're just exploring for yourself, I'm always eager to know how people use AI nowadays.